Okay, well, I just want to welcome everyone to another episode of RG22 Outdoor Adventures. My name is Randy, and I just want to welcome everybody. So, in this episode, I am going to build the absolute biggest musky bait I have ever built. So, I've got it all drawn out. I used 2 planks of cedar, glued them together, and then I'm going to cut the shape of the lure out. And once it's all sanded smooth, I'm going to very carefully separate these two apart. From there, I'm going to route a through wire channel. And I'm going to use the stainless steel wire. So let's get started and we'll get the diving lip all cut. All right, well, here we go. We're going to get this diving lip cut. The table saw blade is as high as it'll go. Here's a diving lip. I did a lot of positioning and measuring from different angles. So we're going to get this cut and we'll see what happens. Here we go. Let me show you guys. Look at that. There we go. We got the diving lip cut. So now that diving lip's going to come out here, and then we're going to have the wire come up this way and then through to there. So now the task is to get this cut out here. That's next. So we're going to do that right. We're going to do that in a quick second. Okay, so here we go. We're going to get this all cut out now on the bandsaw. This is going to take a while, so we're going to take our time. I'm not in a hurry to do this. We're pretty ambitious here. So here it is, the roughness cut out. And now I'm going to get it all sanded smooth. And then it'll be time to draw our chamfer lines, mark our center again. And then once all that's done, we start carving. Oh, I got to do the eye socket. And then we got to figure out where we're going to put the lead holes and all that stuff. So there's still a lot to do. Yep, we're just going to keep moving along. All right, time to do the eye socket. This is a 7/8 inch Forstner bit. Go. Okay, now this side. There we go. Okay, now it's time to figure out where our lead hole is going to go. So we'll get the lead hole drilled. I don't know how many I'm going to need. I'm thinking I'm also probably I may end up having to taper this. All right, so I've got the lines marked out here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go halfway here, draw a line, then do the same thing over here. Okay, so let's get that started. So we're going to do the back side first, roughly there, that's our midway. Okay, so there we go. And I've got this flexible ruler to do this stuff. I don't know if you guys can see that there. So going from the corner to that. There. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Okay, that, there. Again, we're going to draw our midline. There, just like that. Same thing to this side. So now we're putting a little taper. And then to there. Okay, here we go. So there's that, and there's that. Next is we'll go to the bandsaw, and we will try to get this cut out the best we can. All right, so this one we are going to cut along these lines. So we're going to cut this angle out here, this angle out, and then we're going to cut here, cut over here, and cut over here. Okay, so let's do this. Well, at least we know where the eye socket's going to be. Well, that's going to be a lot of sanding right there. Okay, now the hard part, this side. Okay, now there's a lot of sanding to do. Okay, so here we go. And what's next is the lead hole. So all I did was to figure out where my center of gravity is going to be. Just kind of held it really loose in my hand, and you can kind of see how it wants to fall forwards, but right in that spot that I found, if I hold it really nice and loose, it stays perfectly balanced. So that's where the first lead hole is going to go. I got to decide what size we're going to use. I'm thinking a 3/4 inch hole for the lead, and maybe take it down to about there. And I think that should give it a good amount of lead to use, and that should hopefully keep it nice and balanced. So this is a 3/4 inch Forstner bit. We're going to use that, and then we're going to drill it right through the middle right here, right there. Okay, so as you can see, we went pretty deep on that 3/4 inch lead hole, and that should hold a lot of lead and should actually really balance this thing out nicely. All right, so now it's time to start drawing our chamfer lines. We'll get the center marked out again. Time to draw the chamfer lines. Okay, so now we're going to carve along these chamfer lines here. Okay, I think you guys see how this is done. Go ahead and show you guys what this looks like off camera. Okay, all right, we can do the rest off camera. Okay, all right, we can do the rest off camera. Okay, all right, we're gonna do the rest off camera. Okay, now it is time to start sanding along the chamfer lines and across the top right here. And I want to try to keep the sanding right on that chamfer line on the side right here, right along this side, and then right along the middle. I think you guys get the hint. We're going to do we'll do the entire top, the entire bottom, and we'll show you what it looks like when it's done. And then after that, it's a lot of hand sand. Well, lots of sanding later. We've got pretty much the finished lure, sanding wise. Now, it'll be time to make the diving lip, and also ever so gently splitting this so that way we can start our through wire channel. So there's still a few more steps to go, but we are gonna keep plugging away at it. I think it's looking pretty good. Okay, well, here I've got the template cut out and I've drawn it out here, so it's this really long one here. So let's put this on and see what this looks like. Hopefully we don't ruin anything. There we go. Do a little bit further. Okay. So there is what it's going to look mocked up. That's going to be one long diving lip. It's a big lure, so I mean it looks in proportion. I like it quite a bit. So I'm going to get it cut out, and then we'll just draw out where we're going to kind of take this tape off, get it all scuffed up. I'm going to get these holes drilled out, figure out where I want them, and we'll get the, like I said, and we'll keep going. So let's redo that one. Okay, so what happened here is I got my template cut out. I then drew that onto this piece of Lexan, and here's the old one that I drew out right here. I decided I want to make it a little bit longer, and it kind of looks a little thinner, but honestly it's the same size. Here it is sitting on the lure. Looks like it's got some nice proportion to it. I think it's going to work pretty good. And now I'm going to get it all cut out, figure out where I want to drill my holes for the line ties or the toe point, and then we'll start working on the through wire and how I am going to make two toe points over here and how to get those all linked together. So now I'm going to move over to the bandsaw. I'm going to get this cut out, get the edges all sanded, make it look good, get my holes drilled out where I figure out where I want to put the through wire at, the line ties. We're going to do this over again. Way too much. Okay, so there's the diving lip all cut out. The next step is we're going to take it over to our sander and get it. Okay, I am going to finish this up hand sanding. So we're going to do that off camera, and then we'll be back when this is all done. We'll get it fitted and figure out where we're going to put our holes for our toe points, okay? All right, we'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so did quite a bit of work. I got it all cut out, sanded the edges nice and smooth, polished them a little bit, figured out where I wanted to put my line ties, got the holes all drilled out, and now it's time to actually get this separated, get our through wires, our line ties made, our through wires completed here, and get everything all routed out and drawn out how I want everything to be. We're gonna have to figure out where we're gonna put our hooks, get it all measured out again, and then we'll get everything in proportion, and that's it. So let's move on. All right, moving on. Okay, so I'm getting ready to do the through wire now. Now I'm making 2 line ties on this diving lip, and I just wanted to show you guys how I kind of figured this out. I wondered for a long time, how the heck do they get these 2 wired together? So I cut a length of wire, bent it like you've seen me do on all of my other lures. However, if you remember when I make my hook hangers on some of my other through wires on my old shads, I did a lot of twisting. So I kind of did the same thing here, and what I did was I took a piece of wire that I'm going to use, that's going to be my next line tie, and I ran it through here, and then I ran it just like this, and I bent the wire 90 degrees. Actually more than 90, it would be more like 180. And then proceeded to use my pliers and twisted it around once or twice, cut it, and then I did the same exact thing for the back hook hanger here, or the line tie right there. So now when I go to make my next line tie, these will all be tied together, and then it'll all come all the way out through here, and then it'll go right through the channel that we're going to have through here. I will probably end up having it embedded into the lead. I'll find out, see how that goes. I think if we go low like this, I think we will just get it into the lead hole. And then we get all this epoxy, put it together, and we're done. Okay? So I'm going to work on this. I've shown you how I do this. You guys have seen me do this a billion times on all my other lures. So let's get started on that. So here we go. All right, let's try this again. Let's put this drill bit in here. All right, let's bend that wire. And now let's get this one bent all the way. Just like that. There we go. I think that's a little better. Okay. There. That'll work. Okay. First one I've ever done like this, so it's always going to be a learning process as you do them. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to put at least half of this diving lip into the half here. We have our center mark there, just like that. And now what I want to do is I want to kind of figure out the roadmap of how I am going to route my through wire channel. I think that looks pretty good right there. And then what's going to happen is this is going to kind of bend like this, and then I'm going to start bending my hook hangers in the places where I'm going to designate, but I still have to figure that out. I'd like it to just happen naturally. It'll end up being like that. And this, I'm going to get all this figured out. We're going to get all this measured, figure out where I'm going to put my hook hangers, my 2. I think I'm going to put one over here, and then one's going to go back here. Okay? All right. We'll see you in a minute. Okay, so I've got the through wire channel, the roadmap all drawn out. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my little router bit that I have over here. And I'm going to carve a through wire channel on the entire, all the way down the lure, all the way here for each hook hanger on both sides. And then when that's all done, I'm going to get the wire bent so that way I know exactly where, so that way we have a hook hanger, and a hook hanger. And then we get it all epoxied, sandwiched together, and then we fill the lead hole in, and then we seal it, and then we can start painting. So let's get started on this here, okay? Here we go. So we're going to do this one first. Kind of reminds you at the dentist, doesn't it? Okay, so this is take 2 of this lure painting. So prior to that, we did a gray primer and all that stuff, and I was in a big hurry so I could record this, get it done, see how the lure worked and everything like that. Unfortunately, nothing went right. Everything went wrong with the paint job. So I did it again. I put a coat of epoxy over this, a regular clear cast epoxy. It's been sitting for about 24 hours. I got it all sanded, and now it's going to be time to paint. And we're going to use a white primer first. And as I've been using, it's going to be the Wicked Opaque White. So moral of the story is, do not rush this. I know I've said it 1,000 times, but even in the anxiousness to use the lure and see how it works, still don't rush, take your time, do it right. And then you don't have to do this and do it over a second time. Because like I was pretty much done with it. But we're going to do it again, and this time we're going to take our time and do it correctly. And I think we're going to make this like a sucker, try to do it kind of realistic. I think that's the plan. Okay, so now we're going to get this painted. Oh, that looks so much better. And the issue I had with this was all the white was cracking on me, and it just would just never get better, no matter what I did. Okay, well, I'm going to be making that sucker, so the next color is going to be a medium gray, and that's just going to go over all of this. Okay, so that gray is just going to go, we're going to take it right down to about here. I want to leave this all white. So here we go. Turn it off. Okay, so next up is we're going to do some stippling along this whole top here using some white, some black, some flesh color, transparent sand, and transparent brown. White's going to go first. All we're going to do is we're just going to take it and we're just going to kind of do this with it. And we're going to start at the head and we're going to work our way down the sides here all the way to the tail. So we're going to just do this. If you want, you can use a sponge, you can use saran wrap. I'm just choosing to use this. Just randomly do it. So now we're going to take a little bit of black. We're going to go with our flesh tone. Same thing. I think it's looking pretty good. You see how this kind of gets toned down a little bit there? I'm going to go fairly heavy on the scales when we do this, so this will all get toned down, so I'm not too concerned. There we go. I think that's looking pretty good. Kind of liking it. We're going to take our sand, go over the brown again. Okay, we're going to go some brown. And this is where it's all going to come together. Okay, I'm going to finish the rest of this off camera, and when we're ready to do this, and when this is all done, I'll unveil it. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like before the scales. Did a lot of painting on it. I went over it with some transparent brown, and then that transparent sand as you saw. So there we go. Next are going to be the scales. Okay, well, we're back, and now it's time to do the scales on this big, giant, massive lure that's starting to look like a sucker. We're going to do pearl white, and I'm going to go pretty heavy across the top and the sides. And then we'll probably do a little bit of gold mixed in, some browns and things like that. Just kind of making it random. And then after the scales are done, then we'll put in the gills and the eyes. And then I think that should pretty much call it done. So let's get started on the scales and let's see what we can come up with. So our next color is Wicked Pearl White. This is going to be a pretty complicated scale pattern to paint because we're going to be mixing a lot of different colors in different angles and things like that. But the base coat's going to be liquid pearl, or the Wicked Pearl White. So that's our base, and then after that we go with some browns and different colors like that. browns, gold, probably olive across the top, and then that should do it. And maybe some black. Okay, here we go. Let's get started. And like I said, this one we're just gonna go straight up and down. This is one of the hardest lures I've ever had to paint. Just because it's so big, especially on camera. This is really tough. We're going to dry that off and then we're going to keep going. Okay, so there's the Wicked Pearl White. You can kind of see that in the light. Then it tones the rest of the body down, which is really nice. Okay, so next, the fish's scales do have some gold in them. So I'm gonna do some gold, but what we're gonna do is instead of going straight across like we did, I'm gonna point the airbrush this way, like this. So that way I can get the paint to pool right up on these little edges right here. And hopefully that makes it look like there's some gold flecks in here. And then we'll go over that with some brown, like tannish brown colors. And then we'll go over that with probably I'm gonna try to do like a transparent type black, where I can get the paint then to pool in these little areas here and try to make the scales look somewhat realistic. And then we'll go over the top in either like an olive or a black or some color. I'll have to figure that out. Okay, all right, so let's get started on that. So I think first what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use that darker color and then we're gonna spray it this way. Use that darker color first, and then we'll go with the golds and the browns going this way. So now the idea is I'm going to try to get this paint to pull up in here. So we're going to point the airbrush this way and work our way down the lure. That's all we need to do, just like that. Not very heavy. Looking pretty good. I'm liking it. I really am. I want to go darker here. Okay, I think that's enough of the black. Next we're gonna do some golds this way and some browns and some tans and things like that to kind of lighten it up a little bit. And then probably when I have everything off, then we will go over this probably in a blackish or type, or I'll mix an olive or something. Gold. All right. Okay, our next color is going to be pearl copper. And all of our scales now are going to be going in the direction towards the back. And we're going to just kind of do like some random spray here, spray there to kind of give a little gold hue. And then we'll kind of go over some browns and things like that. And maybe some coppers. Okay, here we go. Just some really nice light colors here. And we got some gold in there. That looks good. So let's dry that off, and then we're going to go with some copper, or some bronze. I'm sorry, we'll do some bronze. And then I'm going to go over that in some brown. And then maybe some black across the top, and then I think we'll call all of this done. Okay, so next is going to be our Wicked Metallic Bronze. I'm going to take that right across the top and straight down maybe these sides over here. Okay, and again, we're going towards the rear, from the front, from the nose to the rear, okay? Okay, that's that. And that's looking pretty darn good. We're going to dry that off. We'll get the airbrush cleaned, and then we'll do our brown. I think we'll do this wicked light brown, or this transparent light brown. Go over that. And then when we're done, we'll do this unveil and see how this looks. And I think eventually tomorrow we'll probably do the gills, put the eyes on and all that good stuff. And really, yeah, that looks really good. I like the gold that's in part of it here like that. That looks pretty neat. Then it's time for some brown over here, so I'm going to get this heat set. Next is our transparent light brown. Okay, so this is an olive that I made, and we are going to go again. Just down the back and down that corner. That's all I want. And we'll allow the overspray to do its thing. There, I think that's looking pretty realistic. One more time with this this olive type color that we made. Okay, I'm gonna heat set that. So, let's unveil the scales. I'm pretty pumped up to see what this is gonna look like. Wish I had a drum roll effect. That is a lot of clips. Let me tell you. All right, so let's see what we have here. You guys ready? I am. I can't wait to see this. We went really, really heavy, and wow, look at that. That is really neat. What do you guys think of that? Pretty cool, huh? Kind of looks pretty realistic to me. I want to go over this in black right here, and then some black here, and black there, and black around the eyes. So we're going to do that real quick. And then we're going to let this dry. And then the next time we do this, I think we'll get started on the gills. All right, well, I think this about does it for the scales. I think that looks really good. It looks natural. I mean, this is almost looking like a real sucker. All the colors I did, everything underneath is nice and toned down. You just have that subtle hint of, looks like my fingerprints there. All right, well, I've been having a lot of problems with the battery, but I did this off camera, and I'm going to do the other side. So we're just doing the gills. This is just a black right now. So let's get the other side done. And I have a mark right here, so we're just going to do a little. So now the idea is we are going to take just like that, okay? Just like that. And then we're going to take our black paint, and then we're just going to spray right along there. Just very light. There, just like that. I mean, that looks pretty darn good. Okay, there's that. And then we're going to do the other side. Then just shade it in. There we go, just like that. And there we go, there's our gill. I think that looks pretty good. I think this lure is actually looking really, really good too. Okay. So that's it for today. And when I come back from work tomorrow, we'll finish up. I think I'm gonna do some fins. So I'm gonna practice some painting some fins on here with the airbrush. But we're gonna do that on some paper. I think we'll put some fins. And then I've got these really cool eyes I'm going to put on right here. So I just got to choose the one I think is best going to fit. So I think it's probably going to be this one right here is probably what I'm going to use on it. Just like that. I think that'll look pretty good. Okay, I am going to push the boundaries of my lure painting. So we are going to paint some fins. So the first color I'm going to use is really light pearl white. I want this to be very, very almost transparent. Wicked pearl white. And like I said, we're going to do this very, very, very light. All right, and then all I'm going to do first is, okay, very light. Very, very light. And this will add a little bit of reflection. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to take some transparent gray, and then we're going to do our rays in a transparent gray. All right, here's our transparent gray. This is what we're going to use. Remember, this is me pushing my boundaries of lure painting. Okay. Rats. There's two. Okay, so there's the fin on the right side of the lure and the fin on the left side of the lure. Now I want to do some more gill accents. I want to put some red in here and do some red over here and put a little bit of red there, and then we'll put the eyes on. We'll put my signature on it, and then I'm going to call it done. So let's do the gill accents, and we're going to use some red. And the red we're going to use is going to be this transparent red right here. All right, so what I'm going to do now is use the head part of the template, and we're going to put it right on the black right here. And then I'm going to go along this and make this all red right from here to here. It's been a while since I've done something like this too. So I've got the gill accents done, the bloody accents. We've got the fins painted. Now it's time to glue our eyes in. And then it's going to be time to take all this stuff off and we'll get it signed. And it'll be time for its first coat of epoxy. Okay, so I bought these eyes off of Amazon. And now it's time to decide what eye do we want to use on this. They're all different types, different styles, different colors. And I think these are 15 millimeter eyes. You know what? I think I'm going to go with these right here. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. We'll go with those. Yep, those look like they'll fit perfect. Right, just like that. That's enough for it to stick. And our first eye is going to go on. We're going to try to do it just like that there. Try to keep that somewhat in the middle. Oh boy. Okay. I think that looks pretty good. I like how it sparkles. Okay, we'll leave it at that. There is our lure. That's our sucker. Got some sparkle in the eyes to attract the fish. Pearl paints, gold in there. See the spark with the reflection of the gold. The fins adds a little bit of detail to it. I like the detail, the gills, the accents. Now it's time to grab my pen and we're going to autograph this. And yep. Autograph it, date it, and then it's time to put some epoxy on it. And we'll get all the tape and everything off, and so let's keep going. And this is 11, 24. There we go. So now it is time to take all of this tape off and we're going to get some epoxy mixed. It's a 1-to-1 mix. You guys have seen me do it a billion times, so I'm going to do it off camera. I'm going to throw some gold glitter on it. And I think I'm going to call it done after that. You guys can't see it, but how fast am I going? 3.2 miles an hour, so that's okay. It's got a nice action to it. You see a nice lazy wobbly action, hopefully.